On the 30th of November 1999, 30-year-old flight attendant, young Kavila, had just returned home from buying some food when she discovered a strange man waiting for her inside a tiny Chicago, Illinois apartment. He attacked her with a boot knife, and she desperately tried to fend him off. She was badly beaten, then slashed several times in the neck, and stabbed dozens of times. During the violent struggle, he accidentally cut himself and received a large gaping wound across his chest, spilling his blood at the scene. He then proceeded to violate her, wiping his hands on the bed sheets, and exited the premises. A short time later, her lifeless body was found by her roommate as she entered their apartment. She was laying motionless in a pool of blood in the kitchen. The authorities were contacted. They arrived and collected evidence at the crime scene, including blood and fingerprints on the doorknob. Despite an extensive investigation, all leads were exhausted and the case went cold. In 2007, a man living in Mexico by the name of Luis Rodriguez Mina, who is now 46 years of age, became a suspect when he bragged to relatives about taking Kavila's life. He threatened revenge on anyone who notified the police about it. He was living in an apartment close to her at the time of the attack, but fled to Mexico the following day with his pregnant girlfriend. In 2008, Luis's girlfriend returned to Illinois with their son. A tip from a family member led police to Luis's son, and the mother permitted the authorities to take a DNA buccal swab. The DNA from the child was compared to the blood evidence that was collected from the crime scene, and it was a 99.98% match. The authorities said there were several things that came up over the years. There was the DNA evidence that linked him back to the case. There was bloodstains found in Kavila's bedding and shoe, as well as a fingerprint on the doorknob, which was also matched later in a separate case in Mexico. All these helped tie Rodriguez Mina to the crime, and a warrant for his arrest was issued. A big break in the case came when family members cooperated with the authorities and provided his whereabouts. In June of 2020, Luis was arrested in Mexico, where he fought extradition for months. Prior efforts by the FBI and Interpol to take the fugitive into custody proved difficult when he moved locations every time the authorities closed in on him. On the 8th of December 2020, Luis was extradited to the US and turned over to the Des Plaines Police Department, where he faces charges for taking Young's life. He's been held without bond, as determined by a judge on the 10th of December 2020. He's due back in court later this month. More than 2 decades after the attack, the authorities still couldn't offer a motive for the crime.